Hello viewers, welcome again on Exploring Geology YouTube channel. And today we are quite fortunate that we have retired professor Dr. S.K. Lunkad sir with us, and will explain a very important diagram in geosciences. You can see the diagram in your screen, and this is very important diagram because many questions from the competitive exams comes from this diagram. If you understand this diagram, then you can answer any question related to this concept. So I would like to request Dr. S.K. Lunkad, sir, please, sir.
Hello, good morning, everybody. Here is the diagram. I have made a freehand sketch to explain why Earth's equatorial areas are hot or warm and why Earth's polar areas are cold. This is because of the shape of the Earth, which is an oblate spheroid. That means flattened at the top and bulged at the equator. Due to that, the sun's rays, which are falling straight in the equatorial zone or equatorial areas, are falling oblique or at an angle, and the same energy which is received by a certain area at the equator is distributed over larger area. See these points I have made here, equatorial, and this is polar. This is beam of light traveling and falling on the earth. This point here I have made a sort of the same area. So that energy which was being received by smaller area, that means the insolation was much more at the equator, and the same energy is distributed over larger area. Due to that, the energy or insolation, we call it solar insolation, is distributed over larger area. Due to that, the Earth's pole or polar regions are cold. Now the applied aspect of this is tapping the solar energy. Now solar insolation is more at the equator, less at the poles. Okay, at the same time in different climatic zones, you say equatorial, tropical, and the subpolar and the polar. Similarly, the south, Tropic of Cancer, subpolar and the polar. So these 1, 2, 3, 4 broader zones, 1, 2, 3, 4. As you travel towards the poles, the climate also changes, weather also changes. For instance, in India, we say that 360 days are sunny. That means every day you have sun's rays falling, sun's rays, that means insolation received over the entire peninsular India. But when you come to northern India, in the winter, the weather is very bad. It is foggy, it is cloudy. So we say on an average, 300 days are sunny in the northern India. That means if you want to tap the solar energy, you have more chances of tapping it every day in the peninsular zone compared to north. Now, Earth is situated at an optimum distance. The Earth's average temperature is around 16 degrees Celsius. And this distance is so optimum that if you decrease this distance, the temperature will become very hot and many species will not be able to survive in the equatorial region. Similarly, even if there is a difference of 1 degree Celsius, if you decrease by 1 degree Celsius, there will be glaciation starting and the Earth's polar ice will expand. If you decrease this distance, the ice will start melting. So this being optimum, he said that's why we have about 1.5 million species surviving on the species of plant and animals surviving on the Earth. And so far, we have not been able to explore any other planet in the solar system which is situated at such an optimum distance. So I hope this point is clear to you. To sum up once again, I come to the diagram that the sun's rays are a bundle of rays are falling straight in this area, equatorial area, and the rays are falling oblique and the same area insolation received by a certain area given maybe 100 square kilometer will be distributed over much larger area on the poles. I have roughly shown it. That is usually almost more than double or double. But this is sort of an approximation or a rough way to explain that somehow the insolation received at the poles is decreasing as you go from equator to pole on either side, to south pole or to north pole. Okay, that's what I wanted to explain. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much for such a wonderful explanation. And we are sure that student will definitely get help from this explanation. And I hope this concept will clear for the students so that they can perform better in their competitive exam. They can attempt such kind of questions. So thanks again, sir. Thanks a lot.
Well, I had a sort of a question, objective question sent by somebody, and that objective question I found it interesting, and I wanted to represent it in the form of a diagram so that you students can you can understand it easily.
Sure, sir. Sure,
Okay.
sir. Always most welcome, sir. Thank you very much.